come here. Welcome to the Famous Foxes Aftermath Show, live every Sunday on Leicester Fan TV. Come on, you Foxes.
Yes, good morning everyone. How are you all doing? I am here for the Aftermath show. You might see a bit of a difference in the background. I have moved out, and it is a bit of a mess. So next week we'll hopefully have the setup all going. Appreciate everyone coming in today. We'll talk about obviously the Coventry game. I know, Greg, bloody early, and don't ask me about that. I just thought I'd go early just so it make you happy. Matthew, how we doing, mate? Yeah, make sure to follow Leicester Fan TV on all socials. We've got Nick on today to talk about the Coventry game and see what people's thoughts are. And yeah, what's your thoughts? Again, do you think the point was enough? Do you think we played well enough to get the win if that was the case? But we'll get into that more when we get Nick on. Let's go.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow Leicester Fan TV on all socials.
Yes, as always, make sure to follow Leicester Fan TV on all socials. We are gonna get a few more comments on, then we'll bring on Nick to talk about the game. Shock horror, I know, right? I know I am early, which is good to see. Positives out of the game. I would probably go out and say positives. There is positives to come out of the game. We didn't lose. I think we played quite decently at times. I know there's a lot of people who were kind of concerned about the amount of passing again. But again, I think we're going to talk about it later, but the hierarchy at the club seemed to want this style of play. Obviously, Enzo Maresca at the late stages of Rodgers as well. And now Cifuentes. I don't think we played that badly at all. I think the passing was a lot quicker, but I think there's certain players that maybe need to adjust slightly to make it really, really push through. Gray says also James played well. A clean sheet, James and Carranza. Yep, agreed. I do agree. Maz, how we doing? Sandeep, how we doing? Or Sandip, how we doing, mate? Carl Foster says, I'd say it's a big point over teams to verse. Over a big team to verse. I'm guessing you mean out of all the teams, at least we got a point out of them. So fair enough. Craig says, morning, Reedy. The point was okay. We couldn't get going up front. See, that was the issue. I think realistically, we had players that my personal opinion. I don't think Mavididi really cared, because again, every time he got touched on the ball, he wanted to pass it back off to make sure he didn't have the ball, or every time he got the ball, he didn't really take his man on. Whereas when Monga came on, he was a completely different story. So, and then obviously the two biggest chances of the game, which we will mention later on, is I think the big reason why we didn't get the 3 points, and that is down to Mavididi, in my opinion. More positives than negative. Yeah, I would agree that, armchair jockey, mate. Simon Swan says, morning, readers, should have beat them yesterday, Mav. I know. Again, I don't want to keep battering on about Mavididi, because I do think that on another day he does finish them, but it's just annoying that the two biggest chances came from him and he fluffed them up, because I think the second chance alone should have been a straight one-on-one goal. Yeah, I'll take it. Marty does. Marty. Tony says Marty getting it right defensively, but we are lacking striker-wise. AU 1 goal in 6, and Daka no league goal in 10 months. I get it, and I do think that when Carranza came on, I think that he did improve things. I think he should start against West Brom. But I get what you're saying. I think Marty's substitutions yesterday were decent as well. I think he's getting things right when it comes to substitutions and tactically getting things right. Because I don't think we played that badly yesterday overall. I know there's a lot of, like I say, I know there's a lot of fans moaning a bit about the passing style of play, but I think you just gotta work that through. Um, and then the last comment before we do bring Nick on is A1 Hardy says team selection was much better. Shame no goal. And at least they didn't beat us. Again, that there is some positives in the game yesterday. Again, we didn't lose. We got a clean sheet overall, but it's just a shame we didn't score. I think we could have and we should have, but it is what it is. Right, we'll bring Nick on. Nick, how are we doing, mate?
All right, mate, you're all right. How are we all?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Just very, very messy at the moment. So, yeah, and that's what I'm doing on my iPad today. We'll get a few comments up, Nick, and we'll go through them, and then we'll talk about the game.
Sure.
Phil Holloway said we played okay, to be fair. I know, obviously, when I was sitting with you, Phil, yesterday, you were a bit annoyed at the end of the game when we were passing around the back. But, Nick, I know you're not the biggest fan of the passing style of play, but overall yesterday, I do agree. I do think we didn't deserve to lose. I'll say that.
No,
I
God,
think
no.
we deserved
No.
to get at least a point, and we could have got the 3 points.
Yeah, 100%. I think, especially in the second half, we looked a bit more forward thinking in the second half. I thought Carranza, when he came on, he was good. Obviously, Mavavidi missed a golden opportunity to put us ahead. But on the whole, I'm just more happy that we didn't lose because, for me, cover my kryptonite as a Leicester City fan. So not losing to them is a bonus. So it's good.
Yeah, I agree. There's a few comments here that I probably would. I think we all said it in the ground when we were there yesterday. That
Mm-hmm.
Armchair Jockey says AU as a striker doesn't work, and I think it's more. I will say that I think he played well yesterday, but it's more on the side of things that he doesn't play in his position. He comes
No,
out
I don't.
wide, or
I
when it
don't.
comes defensively, it's like he does well, but he's not doing well in his position he should be in.
Mm,
So
but it's,
this is where for me Kranza just easy slots in because I think he is a main man up front. He's not
I
a hold
think
up ball.
I think IU can do it as a striker, but what we've all got to remember, Carranza came in on deadline day. We've had no choice but to play IU up top because we've had no other striker that can do it. Are people seriously wanting Daka to start games? Because my God, I think if Daka was starting the season, we wouldn't be where we are at the minute. So, but Carranza did all right when he came on. He showed some glimpses of what he can offer us.
Yeah.
But for me, starting for West Brom, put IU in the 10. Jordan James did all right in that position, but it's not his natural position. Whereas obviously IU finished the game pretty much in that 10 role, didn't he? And he did okay. So, and then just play Carranza in front of him.
Yeah, like I say, I don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest fan of AU, but yesterday I think I agreed with Phil in saying that he did play well, but he's just not good enough in the role he needs to be in. Again,
Mm-hmm.
if he's holding the ball up, he shouldn't be the striking position. He should be that 10 role or maybe even like a false 9 and somebody
Sure.
higher up than him. So, but for me, yeah, he was just too far away from his position all the time.
Mm.
And Hardy says, was happy with the point, but think we are we need improving. I would probably say that. I'd probably say we are moving it up the gear slowly. Again, we're never going to be 100% because there's always going to be a few errors in the game, but can't attack us. I'm pretty sure he was talking about us not being able to score. Friday is going to be tough. Says Gray. It will be. I think as long as I'm just glad we didn't lose yesterday because I think that was the biggest issue that we just wanted to keep the momentum going of not losing
Mm.
and getting a good performance in. I think the performances were there in my opinion yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember back to Enzo's time when we were in the champ, it took us ages to click under him properly. We started quite slowly and then picked up all of a sudden. Possibly that's what we're going through again. I think you can see improvements by each game we're playing. I would argue you know, for a start, it was a bonus that we didn't get a player sent off in the first 20 minutes, like we did against Oxford. And you could slowly see them, you know, clicking bit by bit. We're not quite there at the full 90 minutes yet. It's still really, we seem to be playing poor the first half and fantastic in the second half, but it will come.
Yeah.
I'm fully behind Marty. I think he's doing everything he can, and he's definitely doing the right things, in my opinion. I quite like him as a manager.
I totally agree. Again, I think that what he's doing in setting it, how we're setting up, I think over the last few games, he's shown us that we are starting to see a bit of a style and a philosophy in a way. I know. Like I say, I know some people like Jane says it's too negative football, but I, I, I think it all happens for a reason, and we get to the positions we're in the end by doing the passing a bit more. But I think, like I say, substitutions that Cifuentes does, I think they're decent. I think the timing of it as well are decent. Um,
He's not
so
afraid to make substitutions.
no.
Really, that's the one positive. The last previous managers that we've had, I mean, Brendan was always 60-minute mark. Enzo, I know people say about has Marty got a plan B, but Enzo would literally stick with them left, right, and centre. And that's it. That's how we're playing. That's the players that are on the pitch, and he'd rarely make a substitution to impact the game.
Yeah.
Rude, enough said about him is, you know, the best, and obviously Cooper was woeful at the best of times. So I think Marty really is doing everything he can with the players he's got to utilise. You know, he's not afraid to make subs at half time. When was the last time we had a manager that was afraid to make a
Yeah.
substitution at half time if it weren't working?
I think the one thing I would probably go out and say yesterday, and I don't know, don't know the answer to your question, by the way, is more the point of, I think when REEEDY wasn't the greatest in the first half, I think that's the only thing I would have changed at half time a bit earlier than he did. I think he brought Monger on in like the 60th minute, but again, I probably would have done something a bit earlier and brought on Monger at half time just to impact the game a bit more. But again, it's not the end of the world.
It's not, but Mavavidi for me, he's a bit like Iheanacho was. He's a confidence player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if he starts
And
scoring, he'll start scoring more. Yeah.
yeah, he's a confidence player. Maybe Marty brought him back on the second half, gave him a bit of a pep talk at half time, hoping it would spur him on. And thought, right, I'll give you 15, 20 minutes to see how you're getting on. Obviously, nothing changed, really, did it? So he brought Jeremy Monger on, who's 16 and got no fear, bless him. So, you know, I think Mavavidi would do and would benefit a spell on the sidelines myself. Maybe him coming off the bench and stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree. Did you see his dirty nutmeg he did?
Mm.
Yeah. Mate, that's what you want to see. I don't, as much as like it's not all about skill. I think when you see a 16-year-old absolutely slaughter a player like that just because of a nutmeg is absolutely crazy.
He's got no fear. He had their right back or left back on toast. He just didn't know how to cope. And even the left back for Cov against Fatu, especially in the first half, Fatu had him a fair few times, and he didn't know what to do. So when you've got that talent on the wings,
that's the issue. When
it.
you've got Fatawi actually beating his man all the time and getting down the byline, who you're not crossing it into, are you? Because the Ayu's not in that role. Do you know what I mean?
No.
That's what I'm saying. That if you had a full-out striker who could get the head on the ball or get in the box ready for the ball, then it's going to work even better. We'll talk about a few players yesterday then, and people you think maybe had a good game and people who had a bad game. We'll start with there's a comment here from Ben, which I agree with. FaZe and Vestergaard was solid yesterday. That has to be the partnership going forward this season. I think every time FaZe has played, I think he's put a good shift in, either off the bench or yesterday in a way. And I think that as much as me and you probably both agree that we said to start a Coley and Ben Nelson this season, I think the style of play, I think a lot of managers suit the likes of Vestergaard because he knows how to put that ball in areas that not many players can in the defence, which I know people are going to say he's slow and all that, but I think he does a good job at putting them balls through the midfield quite well.
I mean, Vestergaard's got a good pass on him. I'm not disputing that. And I think he is a good defender in general, Vestergaard. But what does worry me is the pace side of things. And also that does frustrate me is when we've got a corner, he's probably the tallest player on the pitch, and he doesn't
Yeah, get his own height.
utilise his height to attack the ball. That's the thing. Why, if you've got no interest in attacking the ball from a corner, why be in the box? So, no, both of them are more than capable at this level.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
agree.
What more can you say about them? I mean, I like Nelson. I do. I think there's definitely a centre back in there. Coley's looked all right at the beginning, the very first stages of the season, but looked a bit shaky the last couple of games. So
I think that's why you're seeing FaZe kind of get integrated into the team now. And now the window's closed as well. You want to see players who you probably want to see as a mainstay in the team. Like Tony says as well, he says James looked great at prospect, but Sumar is struggling. So again, my opinions on Sumar this season. I think he's actually been okay overall. In some games he's been, in my opinion, very good, and sometimes he's not been as good.
2 games
But
really.
no, I know,
Charlton and Birmingham, that he was
and
good.
this is where
The rest of them,
and this is where I'll say yesterday he did really slow the play down. And if you want to play the passing style of play, for me, that's maybe why Enzo didn't want him 2 years ago, because he might have slowed down the play. But going forward, I think he's all right. But it's more when he gets the ball, he has to spin around, he has to try and move with the ball. I think he does slow the play down, and that's where I think I agree with you in the fact of Ricardo and Winks in that midfield would be absolutely key, because I think Winks played very well yesterday. But what's your take on James? Obviously Sumare and a bit of Winks as well.
I think James did all right. I think he was. Bearing in mind, he's not a natural number 10. He's more of a normal centre midfielder or that sort of holder. So I think he did. I think he did really well, and being thrown in at the deep end last minute, and he was solid. Bless him. He did all right, and he's hopefully we can see more performances like that from him throughout the season, because so far I'm liking what I'm seeing of him.
No, I agree. Yeah, Gray does say here James looks hungry and feisty. Yeah, I agree.
He
I think
does.
again, that shot he had in the first half, I think it was first half, where just but it past the post with the keeper save, decent. Joshua James had a good debut. I think it was Jordan James, but no worries, Chrissy. What's your take on Winks? Because I think out of all the games we were saying that we need someone who's going to stick into that midfield and really take the game on by the scruff of the neck. And I think that the way he played with the one-touch passes with Ricardo, I think they work together well. I think that's what we've been missing over the last few games, in the fact of getting that ball out instead of and keep hold of it instead of losing it over time. What's your take on him?
I thought Winks had a great game. I would probably, if I got to pick a man of the match, it probably would be Winks. I thought Winks was really solid in the middle. But as I say, you said about the one-touch passing with Ricardo. That's why I want those two as some sort of partnership in the middle, because I think they'll help each other out and complement one another. And also having Ricardo in that middle, it gives you a bit more creativity in the middle, because Ricardo can create if he needs to. So, Winks was very good.
Yeah. We obviously mentioned about Fatawi and Mavadidi, but again, we'll talk about the strike position in a minute, just to see what we think going into the West Brom game. I don't think many people would think they would thought of this season. Has my headset died? No, you can still hear me.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, I heard a noise in my headphones. Aggie says defensively, we looked better with Woot facing the side. I think a lot of fans would have wanted to said that last season. I think everyone would have been like, get him out of the club, get him out of the club. But I think he did well.
Yeah, but again, though, it's the attitude that that the players have got at the minute. Some of them have got a chip on their shoulder, and you can say Fass had that chip on his shoulder. Winks certainly did last season, but now they've got the windows, shut. They can't go anywhere, so it's up to them now to put in the performances, so that they're playing regular. Some of them might want to be picked for their international teams, like Fass, for example. If Winks wants away, he's going to have to put the performances on the pitch, so that clubs will stand up and go, "Oh, Harry Winks at Leicester City, we like the look of him, we'll try and put a bit. Do you know what I mean? They are playing effectively for their futures, so they can't just sit on the sideline, crying their eyes out like a baby. They've got to roll the sleeves up and get stuck in.
Yeah. Mandy Medhurst says here, why is Thomas taking corners and not Winks? Well, AU started the game with taking the corners and the free kicks, which again I still don't understand that. But obviously now we've not got an El Canu style player.
Well, I will throw the question back at Ander. Who takes set pieces? Because really, I can't think of anybody that's in our squad, let alone first 11, that's a set piece taker. We haven't got an Albrighton anymore. Like you've said, we've not got an El Canus. We don't have a Madison. All these players that we've had in the past that were always on set piece duty.
You've got to look at them.
Who's in it?
Out of all the players, again, you would, if you went through it quickly and go, Fatal, no, because you want him in the box. Mavididi, realistically, you'd want him in the box. Ricardo, maybe.
But again, though, you'd want him in the box after his last couple of.
Yeah, again, it's a hard one to pick. Let's put Vestergaard on it because he's not going to be useful in the box, is he? So.
Now we know we're scraping the barrel of Vestergaard taking corners.
Yeah.
Jesus.
There you go. George says here, Ricardo for corners. I wouldn't be overly annoyed with that. I think he could put a few good balls in. I don't think Thomas did badly on him though. It's just I think A was the one that doesn't do him great. I think we saw that.
We ain't got anybody, in my opinion, really that can do it. So
no, yeah.
It is what it is.
Thomas couldn't get past his first man. I think at times he couldn't, but I think there were certain times in free kicks and set pieces we did yesterday that we did it more of a training ground set piece, which might not have worked, but I prefer to see something be tried and not come off than just put a ball in that didn't go anywhere.
I thought Thomas did all right under the circumstances. I think he's been fairly steady all season. Okay, he's not a corner taker. But on the whole, I think he's done all right. I'd rather have Thomas in at left back than Christensen. So I think he's done all right. Like I say, give Ricky P a bash at the corners next game against West Brom. Yeah.
We'll get the last coming up before we do. We'll talk about the team that we want to play versus West Brom. Anne says here, Mavididi reminds me of Perez sometimes. Good, but not at other times, not so good. Hope he's on the bench next game. And this is where we will go into the next game because for me, other than Ricardo, who should be in the team anyway, I think the end of the game team with Carranza, Monga, and a few other players should be the starting 11 going into West Brom game. I think Mavididi needs dropping. I think Ricardo and Winks in that midfield, or even in the right back and then invert. For me, it's near enough the team you should start with.
I'd have say Jakob in goal. Right back, I'd bring Hamza back in at right back.
Yeah.
Your two centre backs, Fass and Vestergaard. Luke Thomas is your left back. Your two holders would be Winks and Ricardo. Then the number 10, I'd put Ayew in the number 10. Right wing, Fatawu picks himself. Yeah. Left wing is the tricky one for me because Hawthorns is not. I don't know whether I'd start Monga on the left at the Hawthorns. Maybe bring him on in the second half when the players are slightly knackered.
Are you saying you don't want to start him, or are you saying just don't start Mavididi?
You don't know. No, Mavididi for me, he needs dropping. He needs putting on the bench. He needs to come out of the team for a bit.
No, I definitely agree.
I'd probably give 45 minutes to Dakota Reed on Friday on the left side of the midfield.
I'm not a fan of him, but I can see why you're going with it. Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of him, but we're paying his wages, which ain't going to be cheap.
You need to use the old team. You never know. It might be the solution to
create. Exactly. So you don't know. Give him 45 minutes on the left. See what he can do. If he's doing poor, then you bring Monga on second half. Yeah, and then obviously Carranza up top. That's my 11.
Gray says, what about James? And this is where you're saying, do you put AU in the 10 or do you put James in the 10?
But James isn't a natural. As much as he did fantastic there, the the number 10 isn't his natural position. And he would rather, for me, James really is in that space where Winks and Ricardo is. And really, who's in the comments? Would you upset Winks and Ricardo as the two holders for James?
Not at all. I would definitely go out and say that Winks and Ricardo, even if it means James comes out of the team, both start, because you saw yesterday the quality, and against Oxford, that when they are on the pitch together, they work so well together. So for
I mean, I'm
me,
automatically putting Pereira in that middle because he inverts in there anyway. So you
yes,
may as well start him from there.
yeah,
It seems
no, I
pointless
agree.
starting at right backs just so he can invert in the middle anyway. If he wants to play in the middle, which it obviously looks like, and the manager wants him inverting in there, start him in there. Start him in the middle with Winks. I don't
Yeah,
get it.
Simon Scott says Ricky P starts with a charger every time. He's not saying that. He's saying to put Ricardo already in midfield, so he's there, and then put the charger at right back. Because I think over the last few games, or even maybe this season so far, I think Charger's been a decent right back for us. So
Who's been solid at right back?
other than the odd maybe challenge that you didn't need to do, or a pass that went off the pitch, I think everyone's gonna have an error in the game. But
Of course they are, but also I like to see a little bit of bite in the defence anyway. So,
mm, yeah,
you know,
apparently George said that Hamza was rubbish yesterday. I don't think he could do too much wrong, to be honest.
mm,
He just had to make sure he didn't concede, because when he
yeah,
came on, he said to defend out the
he
game.
did it. He
Um,
came on and he did his job.
yeah,
So, what you expecting? Hamza to come on and score the winner? Because that's not his game.
yeah. A bit of a note onto a championship comment. Cody dropped yesterday and Wrexham win. Who knew? What a shame.
Did Ward start in goal for him,
I don't know. I think he's
or
out.
is
I
he
think
still
he's
in the
out
queue at
injured, isn't he?
McDonald's?
Yeah, I think he might be still in the queue at McDonald's. Um, what we're saying? Yeah, Derek also says here Wrexham must be having buyers regret buying Cody. They seem as a liability. Again, they were 2-0 down, I think, from what I saw. I
Hey,
think they were.
they wanted him. They can bloody well keep him.
Yeah, they can have him now. Yeah, and then the last comment of the day we'll keep with Anne. Winks was definitely the difference maker in midfield, so much better. And
Hmm.
I think we all knew that was going to be the case this season. We just had that little bit of an issue where, does he want to be at the club or does he not? And then
Hmm.
when the window closes, it's like, now you've got to stay. So
Yeah,
there you go. So I
we
think,
all know what Winks can do in this division.
yeah,
For me, Winks is too good for the Championship, but he's in that weird thing like Vestergaard is, where he's too good for the Championship, but when they go up the next level to the Premier League, it's a bit of a struggle for them. So there should be somewhere right smack, but obviously there's nowhere for him to go in smack in the middle of the Premier League and the Championship. So,
mm,
but he's far too good for this division, and he was
yeah.
fantastic, like I said yesterday.
Yeah, and then do you know what? I'll bring this comment up just to finish off. Andy Downing says play James on the left wing, and I think there was at times yesterday where he did move and switch with Mabadidi in that left wing role. So there
Yeah,
could be a chance he could play there and then play AU
yeah,
in the 10.
there is, but obviously everybody can pick players and their favourite players and put them in and stuff. We're not the manager. We're not paid the big bucks to do it, are we, mate? So
No.
sometimes it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you need a bit of balance. I mean, look at the title winning season under Claudio. There was players playing at the beginning of that season, and you thought, oh, okay, why are you picking the likes of Jeffrey Schlupp or Richie Delap? You know what I mean? But you do it so that you get a balance in the team. Everybody's fairly comfortable where they're playing. So
No, I agree. I think overall, and this is why I'll ask you the question before we do finish.
go on.
Happy with the game yesterday? Happy with a point, or probably could have got more if we just tried a little bit, or had the little chances better?
I think if we had a bit more luck on our side, I think we would have walked away with 3 points yesterday.
Because I
But
don't think Coventry had anything like clinically like
no,
has to score. I think they
no,
had a few good chances, but nothing went straight into the goal.
they reminded me very much of like how Birmingham were.
Mm.
They're going to be supposedly going to be up there, and everybody kept saying this is our biggest test, even because obviously I rewatched it when I got home from work, so I listened to the vast majority of the game on Radio Leicester. And Radio Leicester were building it up, saying this is the biggest test of the season. Really? Because from what I said, Cov offered nothing. So I think we did all right. You know, if you can't win your games, don't lose. We didn't lose, so
I agree. And then we're moving to West Brom on Friday, hoping to get another good win. Because every time we go to the Hawthorns, we always seem to get a good result. And I'm not just saying that to try and jinx us, but
no, but also we had the GOAT playing for us back then, Reader, who had a history of
but we've got the
winding their
Zambian goat
fans
now.
up.
We've got the Zambian goat now.
A Zambian goat would be a hell of a lot better than Dakar up top, mate.
No, we've got the Argentinian Messi, mate. That's what we got. We've got Carranza. Nick, appreciate you coming on today.
Cheers, bud.
We will obviously talk about the West Brom game later into the week with Phil and a few others. But this is where we'll end it. Nick, appreciate you coming on, and we'll see you next week for another show.
There you go, bud. See you later.
And there you go, guys. Another show completed. Again, make sure to follow Leicester Fan on TV on all socials. We will be live tomorrow night at 7:30 with Phil to talk about the West Brom game and a bit more maybe about the Coventry game, because I know you'll probably have a lot to say about it as well. Appreciate everyone coming on, and we'll see you all next week for another Aftermath show. Adios, guys.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow Leicester Fan TV on all socials.